Straight from the swamps of southern Louisiana, straight from the swamp.
B.S.ing with the guys. We are live. You heard the intro straight from the swamps of southern Louisiana. I am Shane. With me, always Brad. Justin down there.
Hola.
Lot of craziness, guys. It's time to wake up. Let's talk about this shit, man. Big news just came out an hour or so ago with these JFK files. Brad, I think you texted me on my way home and was like, the JFK files dropped. I'm like, oh shit. Now, I'm assuming you read all 80,000 pages already.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all done.
I love how confident he answered too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they did release like everything though, or
Yeah, supposedly it was it was unredacted or whatever. Now, did they really release everything? I mean, who'll ever know? But now
let's start reading.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and read through all 80,000 on here tonight.
We'll just alternate pages.
That'd be very interesting. No, I haven't. Of course, I don't think anybody's been able to make, their way anywhere near finishing reading all those 80,000 pages. But I haven't seen any major shit breaking. What I did see is people are slick, man, with this AI nowadays. Is that Grok on X, which is the XAI. You can ask it if they found anything different than what they've already reported on. And this is the answer. I mean, it gave some answers. It says, experts and researchers, while noting the added depth these files bring to the historical record, emphasize that they contain no major revelations or, quote, smoking guns that fundamentally alter the official narrative of Oswald as the lone gunman. Now, there's a bunch of other shit that I could continue reading, but
yeah.
According to AI, they're saying there's really no bombshells in this, that is going to surprise anybody. Now,
he's fucking lying.
Well, Grok might not be, but I think
Grok.
If that's what it's getting from this, these files are lying.
I think Grok's a liar.
You think AI is full of shit?
Yep.
No, I just think that, like I said, it's whatever's been released is not saying that there was anybody else involved besides this lone gunman theory that everybody's going to the grave with, apparently. And if you, and if you look at any of the evidence and just do a 10-minute study of it, there's no way this man pulled that off by himself.
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So everybody was waiting on that. It seems, at least from first reports, that it was just a big nothing burger, as Hillary would call it. And, it just don't seem like it's going to lead to much more than what we already know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's been, like, plugged into an AI, because I know, like, ChatGPT and shit, right? Like, if you just ask it, hey, what do the JFK files say? It's going to, like, search the web for known JFK file shit,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Compared to like taking an AI, I don't know if you can do it with ChatGPT or not, but taking an AI and plugging in the 80,000 pages and saying, hey, does this say anything about da-da-da, 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 and it being able to tell you, oh yeah, page, 6,472, it says something about this.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. It just, I don't know. I don't know if Grok scanned all 80,000 of these pages and it's pulling it from what it read, or if it's like you said, it's just, all over the internet.
Right.
I don't know. I do know. I mean, it's talking like it did, like it's answering the question, like it's telling you that there's nothing else in this besides what they're already telling you.
Yeah.
Now they're saying, Brad, that they're actually claiming he did it for Russia and Cuba. What kind of ties would that have with the JFK shit and all?
Russia,
well, I think if you look at Oswald, when he married to a communist or dating a communist, and I think Oswald was a full-blown communist. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Even though he did serve in the military.
He'd be great in this time. Full-blown communist. I need
goddamn
But
commies.
I don't know if he actually pulled the trigger, but yeah.
Well, if he did, he was only one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that one bullet theory bullshit is, you pretty much out the window. Like I said, if you just look at any of the damn evidence that's come out, watch any of the videos, But anyway, so like I said, Grok's telling us there's nothing special in it. I think it was just some bullshit that they got, released to us. Meanwhile, they haven't even. The Epstein files are just sitting there floating around somewhere, and they're releasing this shit that really says nothing in it, just to kind of keep you, busy, I guess.
Right. And ChatGPT says, I haven't read the 80,000 JFK files directly, but I have access to a lot of the information contained in them. As many of these documents have been made publicly available, they include records, yada, 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 this and that.
Right.
Is there a specific part of those files or a topic related to the JFK assassination you're interested in? I can help dig into it.
Yeah.
Can't read tonight, but.
No. Yeah, like I said, I personally don't, even if these, AI platforms or whatever haven't been able to go through every single file, which I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, you imagine it can't take a system like that but a couple seconds. Yeah, because we can't judge it by human terms because it's not, So I would think that it's already had a chance. Like these files are public, they're online right now. So why couldn't it have, scanned them that quick and come back with the right answer? As far as being truthful with the answer. And,
right.
I mean, I just think there's going to be nothing pulled out of all of this. Somebody's going to sit. Now, there's some nerds sitting around. They're going to read all 80,000 pages of this shit.
Right.
Just so they can break it all down. And it's going to, eventually, I don't know, the government, they might as well just say JFK killed himself, I mean, it's
exactly.
just, it's all a big fucking lie. And you'll never know the truth. It's been too many years, too many decades this shit's been gone. And to believe that any kind of information's there that's really going to shock the world. I mean, I guess we'd be foolish to think that, but.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
well, even if it was the CIA involved, I mean, I just don't see how they would release that information,
No, exactly. I mean, that would have been covered up or just that part of it gotten rid of years ago. So I'm with you. I think sitting around waiting on that, and that's kind of how I'm starting to feel with these Epstein files is that we're sitting around waiting on nothing now. It's just been too long. I mean, I think the excuse now they're giving is that lawyers are looking it over, making sure that, what they're releasing, I guess, is okay to release or some shit like that is the last I heard. But it's like by this time, every time I start to hear them talk about it, I'm like, whatever, just, it's kind of all, it's tainted now. Let's put it that way.
Well, so with the JFK files and whatnot, have they entertained a second party being involved, or just off the bat it was just Lee Harvey Oswald out the window of the building and that was a wrap?
Yeah, pretty much. Just
that was it.
Oswald.
Yeah, that was it.
So they've never even entertained the idea that there may be a second, party shooter.
Who is they? Who are you talking about?
They being the investigators, whoever.
Oh fuck no, because the investigators were the ones that they let's put it this way, they probably have a team of investigators that knew exactly what. I don't want to say exactly what went on, but it was their team. Let's put it that way. Now, independent people that have investigated, they've all come up with, theories and saying that there was definitely more than one guy involved in this. But they just brushed them off as kooks and conspiracy theorists, But anybody that had anything to do with investigating for the government, they weren't going to tell you the truth. So, no, they won't even entertain that there was more than one shooter.
Right. And why do we think there was a second shooter? Is it bullet casings?
Well, just trajectory of, if you watch that video in slow motion, the way that his head, they said he got shot, in the neck, I think, Brad, is what they were saying, from behind.
Yes.
And his head flies backwards and not one of the videos, but the video. So it looks like he got hit, multiple times. And we don't know. We weren't in the autopsy room, so, but you can just tell. And then that one bullet, matter of fact, I'm glad you asked that, Justin. Hold on. Let me pull something up. Real quick. Y'all bear with me if you're listening. I'm going to pull up a video.
Perfect.
I'm actually
because I'm a little
Favre's Twitter account,
younger than all the JFK things. So
yeah. I get it.
I've seen.
We all are really, but I mean, it's just a story that everybody's kind of All right, let me pull up the share. Oh, y'all excuse me here. And this will be right here. All right, can y'all see that?
Yep.
Everybody good? Yeah. All right, now listen up.
A single bullet was fired from a rifle on a 6th floor window. First, it entered JFK's upper back and traveled downward,
this is what they're
exiting
claiming.
through his throat. Then it struck the governor in the back, shattering a rib as it tore through his chest. The bullet continued, exiting the governor's chest and hitting his right wrist, breaking a bone. Finally, it lodged itself into the governor's thigh, where it stayed until removed by doctors in almost perfect condition. Now, investigators claimed that this is what happened. A single bullet caused 6 wounds while staying intact. But many argue that the bullet's trajectory is impossible. The angles just don't add up, leaving us wondering if there was actually more than one bullet.
So, Justin, you're a gun guy. I mean, the bullet being intact like that, after, like you said, making 6 wounds, going through bones and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, makes sense to you?
No, it doesn't seem likely.
Yeah. That's kind of what
it doesn't, because usually, I mean, even shooting targets and shit, you usually don't find a perfect bullet, if
right.
you do find the bullet. So,
yeah, and that's like you said, or like the guy was saying, just perfectly intact. I mean,
I'd like to know. I guess there's like you can find out what caliber he was shooting at.
Oh yeah. No, I mean you find out the one they tell you he was shooting because they got the rifle and everything, but.
Gotcha, because I know like a 2.23 5.56, like they're moving so fast they hit anything and it's like just shredded pieces of metal. But regardless, I mean, going through bone, you probably aren't gonna find much to the bullet.
No, and to be perfect too.
Yeah,
perfect. I mean,
exactly.
The velocity that them bullets are coming in at when they start hitting bone. I mean, you know how bullets do. They at least the shape would be off if it doesn't just fragment.
Right. Yeah, because when did JFK get shot?
That was in
roughly.
60. What was that, Brad? What was the exact?
God, 65.
Was it 3?
Something like that. No,
mid-60s.
Yeah, in the 60s. Wow. What's up?
So they weren't using like muzzle loaders, fucking,
right,
flint and, and powder.
No, not at all. I'm looking up the gun that the rifle that they say Lee Harvey Oswald. What size round was it?
Yeah, 63, bud.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
November 27th.
A historian.
Yeah.
Used a 6.5 millimeter.
So it's probably like we have 6.5 Creedmoors and whatnot, which I think is a newer round, but I mean same size, but they do shoot very fast. So yeah, I think the bullet definitely would have destroyed itself on the way out of JFK's throat.
Yeah, they found it in your boy's leg or whatever the fuck they found it intact, perfect. So full of shit. I don't believe it.
Exactly.
And I don't believe these files are going to say anything different. So whoever's reading through these, have fun, but I don't see it going anywhere. So, like I said, I think it's all just to distract you from the fact that they're not releasing these Epstein files. So, but
yeah, Justin, it was a 6.5 by 52 millimeter.
We're going to have to get one and go run some tests, dude.
Go run some tests on. You probably could. You find like a pig carcass or something. I guarantee that bullet won't be perfect.
Yeah, because I mean, like that range that I go to, they have a 300-yard range out there with a tower that you can get in. So it'd be perfect.
If you look at a picture of that rifle with the scope, it's like, God, man, simplistic, man.
Can you share it on your end? On here?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think present down at the bottom.
Yeah, you can. But, anywho. Anyway, like I said, big nothing burger. So 80,000 pages of, yeah, Oswald did it. No, really, believe us, Oswald did it. Oh, yeah, no, it was Oswald. That's all you're going to get.
Right.
But,
That makes sense.
yes, it does. But anyway, Brad, did you see where they were talking about Trump or Biden with all those pardons and all, that Trump's claiming that it was all null and void because of some auto pen?
Auto pen?
Yeah, what is going on? What is the auto pen?
I don't know if you ever seen it, dude. It's actually a machine, man. That I guess they take his signature and I guess if you're hitting around, it's like
Oh, I got it. I mean, I guess because all the shit that they have to sign. I mean, I guess they, a lot of things they don't have to physically sign. Right. But there's, according to what I was reading in 2005, they said the Department of Justice said auto pens are fine for administrative documents, but not for pardons.
Ah.
I mean, if it's a rule, it's a fucking rule,
And Donnie T sat up there and signed every one of his executive orders. So
he did. You seen him there?
I seen it.
So I wonder if there's if that has any legs, as far as him claiming that.
I don't know. I did hear where the auto pen is totally different than his signature. Like it's close, but it's
I did.
Not,
well, yeah, I saw the side by side in comparisons. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it didn't. Which, I mean, even if it was exactly like his, if they're saying you can't do it on pardons, then I mean, now, this is what I was reading. I mean, I haven't heard anybody from the government come out and say that, but so I don't know. And then hell, the pardons for the J6ers may have been auto penned. So if it's good for one, it's you know what I mean. If that's the case, then they'll be going right back to jail if they pursue this. So. Like I said, I don't know if there's any truth to it as far as it being, not able to do it for pardons or not. But if there is, hey, look, man, it's it'd be interesting to see.
It's the first time I've heard anything like that come up. I didn't know they used mechanic pens.
It kind of makes sense when there's a shit ton of stuff for them to sign. As long as they know what's being signed with this auto pen, and it's not just I believe half of what was going on, if not more, when Biden was in charge, he had no clue what was going on. So auto pen or a real signature, I don't think he knew what the hell any of them papers said.
Right?
Really? I mean, there were stories of that. Of course, there were people behind him that were pulling the strings, and he had no clue. He was just the face. He was the only name they could throw up there to, hope that he had a chance to beat Trump, and that was it. So they just needed somebody, and he was perfect for them. The man was out of his mind, so he was easy to control. I mean, if you're trying to do some dirty
on anything.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. He was the easiest one for them to puppet because he had no mind of his own. Mm-hmm. So really, it worked out great for them until Trump and Elon and all them came along and started digging in all this shit. But, anyway.
What's I've seen two judges trying to fuck with Trump recently. I actually saw a headline today that I think it was a DC judge said that it violated trans rights for Trump to say that trans couldn't be put in the military, basically.
Yeah, and I seen what did the judge say? It was something about basically he was blocking that. I did see that, but that's kind of everything that Trump throws out there. There's always some liberal judge that's gonna do what they have to do to just stall it. They may not get it where he can't do whatever he's trying to do, but if they can just prolong it as long as they can. That's why they were put there. They're liberal judges. Half of them are probably, their campaigns were paid for by George Soros. And they're just there to wreak havoc and stand in the way of what one side is trying to do. And like I said, even though they may not be able to stop it completely, they can be a thorn in the side, and that's what they did his last go-round. Trump's last go-round, is it was everything he did, somebody was there to push back against it.
Every time.
And a lot of it worked. He wasn't able to get as much done as he wanted to. Example, the wall that he was going to build the entire time he was running. Yeah. The wall. And then, he built a portion of it, but it never got done like he was talking about doing. Right. Because there was always somebody there saying it's wrong, it's violating people's civil rights, or whatever their excuse was to just stall it. Yeah, and that's basically what they're doing with this, with the trans rights things.
Because There was one other thing that a judge tried to block. I think I mentioned it to you last night, and it slipped my mind now. Fuck. They was fucking with him about one other thing. God damn it.
Yeah, and I don't remember. All I read was the trans thing. I know they were talking about one of them. From what I heard, I don't know if it's the same one you're talking about, but they were trying to block Trump from deporting gang members to El Salvador.
Yeah.
You know, that was another thing.
Turn the flight around or some crap like that. But yeah.
And there was something with the Guantanamo Bay and having to get people out of there, whoever he was sending over there. What I don't remember.
Yeah, because wasn't he sending some the?
He was sending somebody.
Yeah, he was sending all the illegals that they were picking up, but I don't think it was just like, you know, family friendly illegals. I think it was the, you know, the hardcore, the criminals. So, yeah, executive order banning. Federal judge blocks President Donald Trump's executive order banning transgender people from military service.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, is that going to stick? I doubt it. And I think eventually he'll get something like that passed. But, you know, I wonder what is his reasoning for blocking it. Has anybody
because
read
it violates their rights.
No. I meant, I asked that one. What is Trump's reasoning for wanting to, you know, make that a law? Like, does he think that they're not mentally fit to serve? You think that's where he's coming from?
I believe so. I think that's kind of where his mind is with it, you know?
Well, and if you look at it, I mean, without, you know, passing judgment on anybody, but they say they have a high suicide rate in that community. Right. So that lets you know something's going on. So not to say every single one of them, but I guess if the percentage is high enough, then somebody like Trump looks at it like, well, we don't need that risk in our military, you know, is all I can think of.
Yeah. So
does that stop? Would that stop the whole gender reassignment care in the military? You know,
I want to say, I want to say he was cutting that, you know, the funding for that also, you're fucking right. He should. There's no reason any of us, because like we always harp about on here, any money the government is spending is coming from us. It's from tax dollars. So that's the last thing I want my tax dollars going to. I mean, if you want to do that, do what?
You don't have any say so.
No, apparently we don't. I mean, but it just seems like this administration has given us a little bit. But yeah, you're right. And you know, in the past we didn't. They were spending it on whatever the fuck they wanted to spend it on, and that's one of them. And I'm thinking, how is that right at all? I mean, the government doesn't want to pay for me to get any type of surgery. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on government insurance, so why the hell should these people be able to? Yes, it's just, it's not right. I mean, at all. No matter what you think of the whole trans movement, that doesn't matter. It's the fact that the government's paying for something like that when we all have to pay for our own health care. Like, let them do it. If that's what they want to do, save your damn money up and go get your shit cut off, whatever. Yeah. I mean, go to Mexico. They'll probably do it for $37. I don't know, but
absolutely they will.
They can sell it. They'll sell it. They'll cut it off and sell it on the black market.
Well, so with the judges kind of take on it that it's violating the rights of trans people, do you think Trump will have to go as far? Do you think he will go as far as labeling transgenderism as a mental health disorder?
I think it's all, I guess, he'd almost have to, I guess, in order to get that to stand. Now, whether or not, I mean, I don't know what actions it takes, though, to get something like that. I don't think the president can make a you know, any kind of call like that when it comes to a medical situation, you know, as far as, you know, I don't think he can decide what's crazy and what's not. I don't know what all steps would have to be taken, or who would have to get involved with that for something like that to go through. But I would think in order for him to pass it just as a whole, like, you know, they can't join the military, it's going to have to be some kind of medical diagnosis, I would imagine.
Exactly, right.
Because there are reasons, medical reasons, why they won't allow you to join the military.
Exactly, yeah.
But I don't think this is one of them yet. It's not official that it's a mental illness. And that's a statement that's argued. I'm not saying it is. I was wondering if that's where he was going with it, you know, because I never really read into why he was wanting to do that, besides the fact that, you know, his base is behind him saying, you know, but I didn't know what his reasoning was. And that's the only one I can think of that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think he just, I mean, like we've talked about it before, you start getting, your military starts looking weak,
Of course it does.
It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Well,
what is this, when your enemies walk in?
Yeah.
So Trump's like, no.
Well, that's a very good point, because it does. It makes it, we're supposed to be feared as a military.
Right.
And when you've got the shit that was going on the past 4 years when the other administration was in there, and they're making videos of, the LGBTQ people dancing around, and, guys wearing makeups with their military fatigues on. Well, what does that say to the enemy?
Exactly.
It's crazy. Now, I'm sure that was highlighted more than what it actually is. It's not like all the military
see it.
Well, they do, yeah. But I'm saying in reality, it was probably a very small percentage, but it's still the message that we're putting out to the world.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I just think it sends a bad message. You know what videos I want to show? I want to show them ones where they're raiding that bin Laden, compound and taking that son of a bitch out. That's what I want the world to know, that you fuck around and this is what we can do. I don't want them seeing, people dancing on the fucking aircraft carrier with, like I said, guys with makeup and, skirts on and shit. It's just, it's fucking embarrassing as a country when that's representing your military.
Exactly.
And
so
look,
it's like y'all ruined it for everybody because, I mean, that's the whole problem, is that it's being paraded out there like it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
It is, and it's like, look, that's fine if that's what you do, if that's the lifestyle you choose, but why does it have to be what our military is, the poster of our military? Like, just do that shit in your personal time. It's kind of like, with the gay stuff. Well, there was a time in the military you couldn't be gay, and then it went to, don't ask, don't tell. Yep. And then it just went to where openly, and that's fine. They shouldn't be where you just can't be in the military if you're gay. But it shouldn't be what's focused on. Nobody should give a shit.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Exactly.
Nobody should give a shit. It's your personal life, and it should have stayed personal.
Yep. The last 4 years, the enemies thought our whole military was scared of guns,
It's so true. Like, we don't have to worry about them.
We just killed, speaking of military, though, we just killed, was it the ISIS second leader or whatever?
Fucking right, we did.
He was ISIS?
Yeah, I was watching the video.
Yeah,
I was watching that. Boom!
Blew his bitch ass the fuck up.
And that could happen, like, if you had a government and the military, like, like the one that Trump's running, that actually gives a shit, that go accomplish things and get rid of these people. It's very simple.
It is.
It's very simple. I mean, we're too powerful to let people just run, crazy like they do with these terrorist groups and all. It just seems like you can go over there and shut it all down if you wanted to.
You can.
It was kind of like Trump wanting to go to war with the cartel. I guess you could. I mean, if that's really what you wanted to do. But, at the same time, no, you're stepping in somebody else's country, fighting their battle.
Right.
And I think that's on Mexico to clean that shit up. Now, granted, when they start bringing that shit over here, because the cartel does run a lot of shit over here, the dope and everything else, then I guess it kind of becomes, our problem. So, but I know he was talking shit for a while about going in there and just taking out the whole cartel and how fast they could get it done.
Yeah, I think they've got surveillance running over there, right?
No, I'm sure. Oh, you know it.
It makes you wonder how efficiently Mexico could really control the cartel, though, because I think they have infiltrated judges
Mexico.
and, governors and.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you, Brad. I don't think Mexico can do anything with the cartel.
No, I think they're so infiltrated within the government itself,
It would take us, but at the same time, the Mexican people and the Mexican government has to want us to come and do it.
Yes.
And they have to be willing to do something after they're gone.
Yeah, not just let it rebuild.
Yeah, without them, the cartel will be right back. We'll just waste another fucking $500 million eliminating somebody that's going to come right back.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, it makes no sense for us to go do that. And, I mean, if we lose some of our soldiers in it, so now people have died for nothing, because as soon as we're out of there, then it goes right back. Or we sit there and keep people over there like we did, in Afghanistan and everything, where they're there for decades. Just now these soldiers are living there because they have to be the police now in Mexico. And we don't need that either.
Nope,
So
we tried that for 20 years.
yeah, so yeah, I don't think there's any win in that situation without annihilating the whole place. But then somebody's going to be, there's going to be somebody. You kill a leader, there's going to be somebody wanting to take his position. You kill one of their, one of their soldiers, so to say, in the cartel. There's some young kid coming up that's going to take his spot. So I just don't think you ever eradicate that. The best thing to do is stop that shit at our border that's trying to come over.
Right, and there's like, I see TikToks pop up, people like basically saying the U.S. military doesn't realize the power of the cartels and shit like that. And like,
yeah.
What?
Well, I've heard that argument before, that if you go over there and you're fighting on their turf, that it's not, like we were making it out to be too simple. That now you're in their, you're in their territory trying to fight these guys where they're not dressed like in fatigues. You know what I mean? To say, oh, that's a bad guy. I mean, they all look, you don't know who the fuck the cartel is if you drive through Mexico, but until they pull your ass over and demand money to let you pass. Right. But as far as just the average citizen, I mean, it's like they look at us. We all look the same to them. I mean, they wouldn't know if me and you were major dope dealers or not, or involved in some kind of gang activity here. Over there, it's kind of the same way. Now, I'm sure our military intelligence knows where the hot spots are. I mean, this is cartel areas, so chances are these people we're dealing with is cartel, but you're in their backyard trying to fight. And, there's other wars that have proven that it's not always that simple when you're fighting in other people's territories. Now, we're a lot more sophisticated now than we were back in the day, so you could probably, just blow them all up with drones. But I don't know. I just think it's a useless war,
Yeah.
Like most of them.
That's a good point, yeah. I mean, why stop now?
I mean, look at the Middle East.
Yeah, why stop now?
Over there.
Yeah, and Israel just started bombing fucking Gaza this morning again.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah, they were blowing their shit up for hours this morning.
Man, I know,
in the morning.
I think it was Russia was putting out a list of things that they wanted Ukraine to do before they would, go all together with this peace treaty or whatever that Trump was trying to get done. And they wanted a few things. They wanted shit for it. They big time. They want Ukraine to not even the NATO shit to never come out of their mouth. And
right.
What do they have so against Ukraine being with NATO, Brad?
I don't know. That's a good question, man.
I'm just curious. I mean, I'm sure there's people that are more educated on the topic than we are that can answer that quickly. But I'm just curious because it's always been one of Putin's big thing.
I don't know if it's too close to Russia.
Yeah, because like, what is the coalition that Russia and China and what's their little posse called?
Their posse? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about, but
aren't they all like BRICS, kicking it together? North Korea and China and Russia, and thought they had a little clique going.
They probably do.
Like we got NATO, and they have like potato or something, right? But I've heard it kind of related to that of, imagine if Russia was trying to recruit Mexico, right? Like, we'd be like, no, absolutely the fuck not. Like, y'all got us fucked up, right?
Right.
So it's kind of the same way on that side. They're like, no, y'all are not joining the fucking West. What the fuck,
Yeah, I guess that's mainly what it was, like a military, build up, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
And look, man, I probably said this before. It's I don't know enough about what went on behind the scenes to know who's right and wrong in this. Now I know everybody's kind of chosen a side, and most of them, for some reason with the Ukraine, everybody jumped on that side as far as on the left. Mm-hmm. Now, not to say Russia's, a great, country or that Putin's a great leader and he does no wrong, but I don't know. Like I said, we don't know what the hell's going on there. I don't think we ever get the truth out of any of that. So, I'm just not.
Nope.
Not
at the end of the day, it's probably behind some money that we haven't found yet.
That's what I mean. There ain't no telling. There ain't no telling. Speaking of money, Brad, how much would it cost for? What's a figure you would put on willing to disfigure your crotch for? How much money would it take? Scalding hot coffee on your crotch. How much would somebody have to pay you?
Jesus Christ.
Come up with a figure.
Hasn't this been settled before with $1 million or something?
Yes, but this dude the dude just won $50 million from Starbucks.
No shit.
Yes. And there's a video of it. Lady,
aftermath
Damn,
pictures.
50.
no, I don't want to see aftermath pictures. No, lady was handing him his shit through the window. Look, I'll pull it up. Let's pull it up. Let's see. Justin, how much money they'd have to give you? Would 50 million suffice?
Nah, I'm too young.
50 mil. You could buy a new cock and balls. Let's see. This is the little video. I mean, I just don't even know how to do dropped it, but I mean, I've only watched it once, but
Starbucks
let me see.
tea?
So there he is. Like 3 cups of it. Here you go, sir. Thank you.
Whoops.
Oh, my balls.
Oh, shit.
I wish there was sound.
I know.
I think that was self-inflicted. He should.
Look at it. It just looks so weird. It's the whole, look at him. And just all of a sudden, I don't know. It looks like the one on the end fell out. Was it loose at all on there? Let's see. It's
wow.
It looks like
it's
that
like
one
the
on
one that's right at her right now, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because he turns it and then it just boom,
blah.
Oh man. Look, man, if he got awarded 50 million, that shit had to hurt. Because it was
I'll take a shot for 50 million, dude.
Yeah, let's get on. Let's get into it. Leaving his genitals burned and disfigured. Delivery driver. Oh, he's a delivery driver too. So he's picking that shit up for somebody else.
Damn, he didn't even get.
Yeah, didn't even get the friggin' tea.
Damn, that's a nice tip though, dude. 50 mil, dude. Jesus Christ. Man.
Ooh, find an employee of the Seattle-based coffee chain had not wedged the scalding hot drink into a takeout tray well enough. So yeah, they're blaming it on the young girl that didn't shove it down in there. The jury verdict is a critical step in holding Starbucks accountable. And what do you have? In that case, the case's outcome received, that's the McDonald's one, was $3 million in damages.
Mm-hmm.
This one, man. In 2023, South Florida jury awarded $800,000 in damages to a family of then 4-year-old for second-degree burns she suffered when a hot Happy Meal chicken McNugget fell. God damn.
I remember that.
How hot was that nugget?
Dude, and it like really like scalded her hands and shit. I'm pretty sure she was all fucked up.
It's like, oh, it's right out the grease. Give it to her.
Right.
My God.
Man,
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, I do remember that one.
Holy shit, man. Well, now speaking of money, man, they talking about if y'all want to go to Harvard, dude, well, you got to be making less than $200K a year. They're going to pay for it. And I'm thinking, Brad's like, oh. Very interesting.
Where do I apply?
Yeah. But I'm wondering, like, there's got to be some catch to that. I just can't see Harvard giving out, I mean, you know, just giving out freaking free tuition to people at a school like Harvard. But it claims, you know, $200K or less.
Which, like, don't they already do that if you're smart enough?
Well, yeah, but this is people. Yeah, well, that's another
So now you can
thing.
be broke and stupid?
Right.
Go to Harvard?
Or unless there's going to be some kind of criteria you got to meet that's damn near impossible, you know, where they don't
That's
really
just
give.
a scholarship.
Yeah, it does sound like one. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But it's got to be different, or they wouldn't be
They're just trying to make
it.
themselves sound good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be willing to bet it's no whites and no Asians allowed.
You come to Harvard for no money as long as you're really fucking good at
fucking
math.
Smart. And
You're like,
but I don't know. I mean, I guess Harvard gave scholarships. I don't know.
I would assume.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if aren't they they get government funds.
Yeah, they do.
You know, Harvard, you know, so it's like how it. No, of
Ain't
course
that
not.
where Uncle Phil went?
Uncle Phil
Fresh
from Duck.
Prince?
Oh, what you make from Duck Dynasty?
Nah, no. God.
Uncle Phil.
No, I don't know if he went to Harvard. That's true. On the Fresh Prince you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he may have. He was a judge, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
That's right.
Sounds like
That's right.
Harvard grad.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why those institutions get federal money, man, because like their endowments are in the billions.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah, you
They
know
got
them
more
bitches
money than
making
they
money.
Yeah, that's what they were. You know, the type of money that like a Harvard has. It's that they. Why do they need government funding too? I mean, I know it funds some of the research that some of these schools do.
Sure.
You know, the government funded research and shit, but still in all, mean, damn.
I guess they can sell research, huh?
I guess so.
I wonder if they can sell it.
I mean, I guess they can. I don't know.
Like, it's like, we found the cure to cancer, but you bitches gonna pay.
You gonna pay? Oh, you can believe it.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably already found the cure. Just, it's better money if you just keep people needing your drugs and your treatment for sure. But
I heard they were getting closer to a cure on like AIDS and shit.
a cure? I thought they pretty much have it already, don't they? I mean, I know it's like a lifelong pill.
Yeah, where it won't like advance, I guess. And I don't even know if that's for AIDS. I think that's more for like the HIV.
Oh, the HIV
it
before it's
becomes like full
blown.
AIDS.
Oh, okay, yeah. You talking about like full blown AIDS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said something like it hides within your cells, like the AIDS. It like gets dormant and hides in your cells. So for like scientists and shit to find it is a job. Like it's hard. And if there's one AIDS cell left in your body dormant, it'll just spread back. So they're working on basically they would inject you with cells that would trick the AIDS into thinking they're good cells, and it's some crazy fucking science shit that I'm not smart enough to really fully comprehend, but
that makes all of us. But no, I seen back in the day, man, when that shit was first coming out, it was like the way people were treated, it was crazy. But nobody knew, they'd have kids that would have HIV, and then, like, nobody wanted to be around them. Everybody was afraid to talk to these kids, be in the same general area. And it was so, just as a child, and it's so sad to think that, that's what somebody had to go through, because people were ignorant. They didn't know. This is when you thought it was airborne, or, just by touching somebody, you can get it. And I guess I can't blame them.
Plague back then?
Pretty much, honestly. Yeah, it was run rampant in the gay community. And then, of course, you got people that are bi, so they're going and having sex with women also, and then it's just spreading, and needle sharing, a lot of drug.
That was a big part of it.
But I think that's what they were, like, calling it on, like, the news channels when it comes to gay
back in the day. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they could do shit like that. Now, they're like, oh, fuck that. You ain't doing it. It's like the monkeypox. They refused to say that was from butt sex. Man on man butt sex. They didn't want to say it, and it's like, just say it. Just say it's spreading amongst the gay community. Maybe that might help them. And they'll say, shit, we need to stop doing this for a little bit. They got monkeypox,
Right.
But they just cannot fucking say it anymore.
Nope.
If it ain't coming from a straight white male, they're not saying it, man. I'm like, come on, man. The truth is the truth sometimes. Just fucking spit it out. It is what it is.
Absolutely.
Did you ever watch the I don't know the name of it, but Matthew McConaughey had AIDS in the movie.
Yeah, I know the movie. I know it, but I didn't watch it all. Didn't he lose like a shit ton of weight? Like, he looked like a fucking Well, that was like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia. What did he have in that movie? Was that cancer or AIDS?
AIDS.
Was it AIDS?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Nah, it's kind of the same concept, but
yeah. Old Matthew McConaughey was running like a AIDS pill mill out the motel room.
Oh, is that what the movie was about?
Yeah.
Was it based on anything true, or was it just all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a true story. It tells you the guy wound up I think he died in like the early 2010s, but he found they were making him take some new drug at the hospital, and research was showing it was killing people with AIDS faster, basically, than not taking anything at all. So there was a doctor that had lost his license in America, so he went to Mexico, and he was prescribing basically vitamins, like a healthy diet and shit, and, a drug or two that would, basically had turned into what we pretty much use today to stop the HIV shit. But it wasn't FDA approved, so he would go to Mexico and get trunk loads of the shit from the doctor and bring it back over here, and he was selling it to people with AIDS, and the FDA kept like kicking his door in and raiding him and shit, and so he was going back and forth with them.
And this was medicine that was working?
Yeah.
That shows you what's all behind that, That's the last thing they want. It's like stem cell injection that helps people, so you don't need surgeries and shit, but they won't do it here. You got to go, to another country to get that, and people that do it say it works wonders, on injuries and all, to where it stops from them from having to get cut on by these doctors. But it's just something else that they will not legalize over here. And I think a lot of it is just to do with that whole medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry. Like,
Absolutely.
Like I said, there's no money in fixing anything.
Nope.
And it's a fucking shame. You know,
Yeah,
because you're
'cause
saying it right
even-
there. I mean, this is AIDS medicine that's working, and they're giving this dude, like, the last thing they wanted was that shit being legal in the country.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And even still today, it's not legal. The medicine
it's
that
not.
the movie was based around, and by the end of the movie, he was going to court just to basically get a judge to grant him permission to give the medicine to himself. He was like, I am dying. I don't even want to sell it.
Yeah, you can't
Like-
even. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, you can't even take it
nuts?
yourself, you
And
know? And
At the same time, they let Oxycontin run wild.
oh yeah,
You know, and
Oh,
opioids
yeah.
and shit like that. You know, they'll let that shit run wild in the country. But when somebody comes up with some sort of cure for something, they go fucking ape shit. That boy, man, if that doesn't let you know how dirty this whole, just the whole system is, man.
Big pharma.
And
FDA.
yeah, it's like you know, everybody thinks it started with COVID, and that shit has been going on for decades with these people. I mean, as soon as there was the kind of money to be gained that they're making, that's when it all just went south. You know,
yeah,
it was like, well, we can make a shit ton of money in this industry. Let's keep it going. And
instantly.
as soon as they figured that shit out, man, it ruins everything.
Yeah, like the
just-
flu vaccine is pretty convenient, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ah, you got to take it
Yeah.
every year, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And then meanwhile, they're like, we're not guaranteeing it's going to do anything, but, you know, a chance that it may. And then they don't even know what strand. They're trying
It's
to guess
probably
what.
just
Yeah,
sterile
exactly.
water.
That's probably, yeah, exactly. Which some people, I don't know, they get sick from taking it because from what I
Really?
understand, they inject, you know, it's got some of the virus in it or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like
supposed
a
to build up
dormant
your.
version.
Yeah, some whatever bullshit they tell you, but it's, you know, people get like, oh yeah, I was sick for a week after I took it, but I won't get the flu now.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
like,
what the fuck you think you were just
you
sick
just
with?
dealt with the fucking flu, you know? Like,
Yeah, I've had family members tell me that, like, yeah, that flu man, it kicked my ass, but you know, I'm covered now for the flu. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's how they do it. They'll come out there and say, well, this is for like the A strain of the flu. And it's like,
Right.
well, how do you know what's coming this year? It could be C.
They don't.
Or it could
And
be
they say
C,
they
exactly.
don't.
You know?
Yeah, it's all supposed to be an educated guess, but they know it. None of it's worth a fuck anyway, so it don't
Right.
matter. You know, it's just let's see how many we can sell.
yeah, exactly. I don't even know how much they cost, $20 or something like that.
A lot of them, it's fucking nothing.
Really?
You know, yeah, because I know they'll be like
Right,
free flu
government
shots. You know,
subsidized.
yeah. I mean, somebody's making money, but yeah,
Yeah.
that lets you know how important it is when they're basically trying to give the shit away. They're begging
Yeah.
you to come take it. If it was that important, we'd all be lined up. Like, I
Like,
want. Where the fuck's mine?
Sign
you
this
know?
paper saying that you took it so we can get our
Yeah.
kickbacks. The only
Yep.
shot I'm taking from the doctor is a tetanus shot because I'd be getting fucked up in some dirty places, but, you know.
Yeah, I think that's every 10 years or something. They want you to.
Something like that.
It used
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, I think it's every 10 unless you like cut yourself on some nasty metal or something and then they're like,
Yeah.
just take it again. But
Yeah.
But- that does not look fun. I've seen videos of people going down from tetanus and
Now what? Yeah, I've never. What does tetanus do? I mean, I've always heard the term. I've just never bothered looking into it because I'm like, well, they give you a
It's
shot
like-
for it, so it must be bad. But
it attacks your nervous system and like
is it real or is it just something they made up so they could give you shots?
No, I mean, supposedly it's real what these people were dying from in the hospital videos, but like you
Yeah.
get lockjaw and shit, and like you can't open your jaw, and then all your muscles start tensing until basically your heart shuts down.
No,
you know?
but and I don't even mean real, but I was like, is it even something that's around still that you got to be worried about?
Well, apparently it lives in the soil.
Oh, so it's not just some shit from the 1800s that they're still scaring
No.
the shit out of people about.
It just kind of lives everywhere in the soil, but
Yeah.
you're susceptible to it when you're working like outside and usually piles of rusty metal. If you step on a rusty nail, it's probably in the dirt. So that's why they make you get it after that. It's not the rust on the metal, it's just dirty environments where soil's been. That and rabies. You ever seen the rabies videos?
Yes, I have. And they say the
Dude.
treatment for that shit sucks. At least it used to. It was like all these injections in your stomach
I
or
don't
some
even
shit.
think you can get it. Like I don't think it's curable rabies. I think one
Rabies?
girl's out. Yeah,
I think it is now, isn't it? I
Is
think
it?
they. Well, I mean, there is a treatment like they give you like a series of, I don't know what it is, man, 8-10 shots of some shit you got to take, and they're talking about painful shots in your stomach. Now, this is speaking from old school knowledge. I haven't read up on it in years, but I know back in the day that used to be the thing, that you had to take some kind of shots. But I thought it was nowadays, if it's caught early enough, it's treatable. But
well, I think maybe if it's caught early enough, but I believe it's still a virus or whatever the fuck it is, pathogen, to the point where once you start showing symptoms, you're done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it says rabies is almost always fatal once symptoms appear.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's preventable with okay, so in other words, if you get bit by a fucking wild raccoon and then you hurry up and go get treatment, then you'll be okay, is what they're saying.
Right. But once that first symptom hits, I think like survival rate is like nothing. Like one person, I believe, 1 or 2 ever has survived it after showing symptoms.
Yeah, it says there is no known cure for rabies once symptoms appear. Wow. So the sooner you seek medical attention and start PEP, the better. Right. Well, I don't know. Well, fuck it. I don't want it.
You wind up dying because I don't know how, but you gain a phobia of water. So you like dehydrate yourself to death because you won't drink.
Well, you go crazy too, don't it? Like fuck with you, like where you start going nuts and
it like starts eating your brain stem or something.
Afraid of water. What a fucking disease, huh? Something you need, boy. Like water. Like no, get it away.
Right.
Damn, that's crazy. Man, I've been seeing all these conservative social media kind of content creators getting swatted lately, and I was just curious on y'all's thoughts on what the punishment would be for people that do that shit, whether conservative, whatever, but just somebody who calls in a fake fucking hostage situation or a suicidal situation, and then the SWAT fucking team shows up at your house in the middle of the fucking night.
Well,
I mean,
for the person that's calling it in, are we assuming that somebody, when the SWAT team showed up, died?
Well, okay, yeah, let's say something like that. What? But then again, okay, nobody died, but the chance is there. So, I mean, should that be attempted fucking murder?
I think you should at least get like terroristic threats, some sort of charge along those lines.
Well, did you hear about the one with what's his name, Joe Pegs?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was swatted, man, and come to find out, it was whoever called it in was on a burner phone, and
so it's hard to trace.
Yeah, supposedly he had, the call was, they were being held hostage in the house, and he said he looked out his window, he saw all these people. Of course, he had a gun, and I guess it's like, dude, if you open fire on them, and here you got the SWAT team, Jesus.
Right. That's what I mean. You're putting somebody in a very fucked up, somebody's family. Like, I mean, there could be children in these houses that damn cops come. Now, in your mind, you don't know what the hell's going on. Right. So then you grab your weapon, they see your weapon, and they start firing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why even the attempted nonsense of this swatting the penalties ought to be harsh, because it could lead it could really lead to death of people that don't need to be dying, whether it be the police officers, the homeowner starts shooting at the damn SWAT team. Right. I mean, it's fucked up that's the games that they're playing right now with people, man.
Yeah,
it's not cool at all. Over some political fucking beliefs is what's going on right now. It's ridiculous.
Right. Have you seen the white hacker dude that was on Ian Blick's podcast? He's a little nerdy white hacker dude.
I don't think so.
No,
I mean, if I did, I don't recall it.
It doesn't really matter, but he got swatted, right? And they wound up tracking down the dude that swatted him, and he was a quote unquote serial swatter.
Oh, Lord.
Well, after the fact of hacker dude getting swatted, that guy swatted somebody else, and the homeowner died in that situation, and they charged him with murder. He got sentenced to 40 years.
Right, and in that situation, right, and so they got that handled, but what they're probably, what the big discussion is right now is what should happen to these people that do it, even though nothing happens. The cops come there, everything gets worked out, they find out it was a false, allegation, but, I mean, they still got to be held accountable, and it should be something very strict, and you'll stop this nonsense. Most of it. I mean, there's always going to be idiots that are going to do it, but it's a dangerous fucking game people are playing. all in the name of, they don't like what somebody's saying on social media or on some, whatever, on their podcast, some kind of political stuff. And it's like, really, that's where we've gone, I mean, we've gone that far that you would risk somebody losing their life or somebody's child getting shot in the middle of all this shit because you don't agree with their politics. I mean, that is crazy.
I think if they can trace it back to something political, they should definitely hit them with some sort of domestic terrorism charge.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But some of it's like, it's just in the gaming community, is where this kind of started. It's like these little nerdy gamers are mad at another one, and then they're swatting them, while they're live streaming, and even that. I mean, that's dangerous, man. That's really dangerous. People get killed with that shit. I think they ought to be held to the full extent of the law. They need to make another law for that shit, man.
They do. I think it's surprising that more people haven't died from it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, and I will say, some people, they see the term swatting. Now, I saw one of the videos, and it was literally a cop at the door knocking with maybe 2 other police officers with him.
Right.
I mean, we look at it, we hear the term, and we're thinking they're coming geared up, fucking kicking in doors. And I'm sure that's happened, but a lot of them, it'll be 3 or 4 police officers, one of them, there's a couple standing guard in the back and the other one's at the door just kind of knocking. And, I see him with his flashlight looking in the house, they weren't like just busting down shit. So the term kind of gets thrown around a lot. And when you hear SWAT, you think, oh shit, SWAT team. But still in all, I mean, it's the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, some asshole's knocking at your fucking door. First thing I'm doing is grabbing my gun, I mean, I've been there before, with just a stranger looking for somebody, and the first thing I ever do if I get woke up late is grab my pistol. So that could lead, I mean, you come around a corner, walk into your front door, and you got a pistol in your hand, and there's a cop standing out there. I mean, that could lead to some bad shit,
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually another video that I saw. It was the police got called to a report of something domestic, and it was kind of like a checkup thing. Well, they went to the wrong address, right? And it was an old man in his 60s, mid 60s. So he comes down the stairs and he sees flashlights aiming in his front door window. He had a door with the 2 light windows on each side, right?
Right.
And so all he sees is flashlights and people are banging on the door. So he goes back up the stairs, gets his pistol, and he comes down. Well, the cops see him coming down the stairs with a pistol, and they start shooting through the door.
Damn. And what were they there for?
They had gotten a call of some domestic disturbance, but it was for a different address.
Oh,
so these 2 olds were sleeping, and he wound up getting shot. I don't think he died, but yeah.
So what do you do? Like, I mean, as far as the police officer who does that, I mean, should they be held accountable, or is it kind of like, hey, they thought, I mean, they were getting, all they're doing is going by what they're being told, that it's, hey, this address, boom, go get it,
I think it depends. If it's the officers who went to the wrong address. If they were told the right address and they were like, oh shit, I thought it was a 1, but it was a 7. My bad.
They
I think
up. Yeah.
They should be charged like anybody. Like if you're at work and accidentally kill a coworker, like you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, you may not be murder, but something. Something's. You're right. Yeah, I mean they're not exempt from the law when they fuck up, and they shouldn't be.
Exactly. You fucked up. Somebody died. Somebody's got to pay for it.
True.
Yeah. Damn. Crazy, man. No, it ain't at all. But like I said, if they just come out with some harsher laws on that shit with the swatting stuff, it'll probably stop. But they got to, I think tracking these people is hard too. It's like Brad was talking about the person with the burner phone. Well, you don't know where the fuck, I mean, now, chances are this person told somebody. Most people want recognition with their friends or somebody, So somebody knows who does this shit, whether the police can track them or not. So it would take people stepping up and saying, hey, look, this is, dropping these anonymous tips.
I'm just saying, we just found and blew up the vice president of ISIS and a whole other side of the world. So
the vice president of ISIS. Hell yeah. So you're saying we should be able to find these people even with burner phones? Is that what you're getting at?
Easily.
Yeah.
I just think it may not be worth the resources if nobody dies, but how do you stop it before somebody dies if you don't put the resources to it,
That's a good point.
It's true.
Too. That's a good point, that if they're not going to waste time when it's just, the cop went to the wrong house, knocked on the door, everything was fine.
Yeah.
To them, it's over with, done, case closed, but it shouldn't be.
You should.
Because eventually somebody's going to die. I mean, again, because it's happened before. But I noticed there's been a rash of it, or at least people claiming it on X. I mean, every conservative fucking content creator's like, oh, I got swatted last night. It's like all this week, just got swatted. Now, I've only seen like 1 or 2 videos of the, 8 or 9 people claiming it. One of them was just a Ring video, like I said, of the cop on the porch knocking on the door. But,
right.
I see a few of them coming out claiming they got swatted, but I don't know.
I saw a video not too long ago too of he was a conservative, kind of like I guess a speaker, like he was just a conservative fucking voice, right?
Right.
And he posted a Ring doorbell video of just some left-wing liberal knocking on his doors at like 11:30 at night. He was pulling on the door handles and knocking on his doors, and he had like a Tech 9 in his hand, like he was about to walk in there and kill this motherfucker. And dude couldn't get the doors open, so he left, but it's like, God.
Yeah, there may have been someone dead on my porch.
Yeah.
Around
well, I think
here.
Buddy wound up not being home at the time.
Oh, okay.
He got home and checked the video and was like, "Oh shit!" And he sold. I think he was in an apartment at the time, but he moved out like the next week. He's like, "Yep, I'm out. Fuck this."
That's crazy, man. People are nuts, dude. People are nuts. Kind of like that one that broke into, was that Pelosi's husband that got beat? Yeah, him. That crazy motherfucker. I don't know if it was his boyfriend, but that bastard. He's breaking into his home and I mean, smacked the shit out of him with that hammer with the cops there. I mean, people.
Didn't the cops just let him do it? They were just
like he's holding a weapon, and the cop. I mean, not like the cop was like, "Go ahead and do it," but I'm thinking that they should have pumped something in him before he had a chance to.
Right.
I mean, you see now. Granted, I guess. In the cop's case, he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know if it was some kind of lover's quarrel, but still, the dude's got a weapon. I don't give a shit who it is. If I'm standing there with my wife and I got a hammer in my fucking hand, then they have all the right in the world to try to, subdue me. I mean, they could have tased that motherfucker or something. But no, he's just like, boom, right on that old man's head. Like, damn. But yeah, like I said, people are nuts, man. They get so, it just takes a crazy person to pay too much attention to the rhetoric that goes on day in and day out with these politics and all, and then they think in their mind they're doing something right. I mean, it's what they try to claim went on with the guy who shot Trump, is that he was just kind of got sucked up in all the bullshit, and it happens, I'm sure. I don't think that's the case with him. Now, he may have been radicalized, but I don't think he acted alone. But still, you get people like him. They pay so much attention to this shit going on, and not everybody has the mental capacity to say, look, it's not that big of a deal. I may be irritated with what goes on in politics, but it's not, worth strapping up and going to take one of these politicians out. That's just it's not the answer. But in some people's mind, it is, man. It is.
Absolutely.
I do.
Look, just like what's going on with all of these Tesla dealerships, I mean,
bro,
it's like, God,
it's crazy, huh? They talking about, I mean,
they were fucking with the dealerships?
Still, yes. They just released a video. One was, I mean, multiple cars on fire, like just torching these things, man. And then, not to mention the innocent people that just happen to own them around the country. Their shit's getting keyed. And now it's all on video because Tesla records everything, apparently.
Everything.
Yeah.
And it all it's doing is making me want to go buy one. Because they are at war with these Teslas right now.
Dude, I didn't know they were hitting the dealerships and shit.
Yeah, man. They just, I know Elon had just, posted, I keep wanting to say tweet, but just posted a video. Matter of fact, let me pull it up.
Are they not arresting any of these people?
I don't think they're knowing who's doing it yet. It's just these Antifa type fucks running around, doing this shit in the middle of the night with masks and shit on. I mean, you know how they are, but here's
like
one of the
12 cameras on every Tesla.
Well, yeah, they're seeing the people that are keying them, but like this shit here, I mean, this is in Las Vegas, and they just like torching them. I mean,
man, look,
and I'm like, what is that doing? I don't understand it, man. I don't understand what's driving this right now. But they
can catch some fucking people.
Probably so.
Dude,
so. I
I don't know if y'all remember the local car dealership around here that got hit for all their fucking rims.
Took
They
all
caught
their
them
rims
motherfuckers in 2 weeks, dude.
and another state, like states
Yeah.
away. Yeah, you're right.
Hemmed them up over some rims.
That's
They
true,
can catch
yeah.
them fucking people.
Yeah, they were coming. I think it was Matt Bowers.
Yeah.
You know, Matt Bowers Chevy or whatever. Man, it took every rim off of all
Every
the cars. They were
rim
all
in
just
the
sitting on
lot.
block. And it wasn't just him that they hit. They hit a lot of these big lots
Yep.
around here, you know, and it was like a multi-state crime spree, and they
Multi-state.
caught them. So I'm with you. You can't catch these fuckers burning up Tesla fucking.
Caught them
which,
quick.
granted, this just happened, so maybe they will. But I know I've seen a lot of videos of the people that are just kind of keying the cars.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be in a parking lot and they'll sneakily walk up and just, you know. And one of them got caught a few days later. A guy spotted him in a parking lot of another store and approached him with his phone and was recording himself like going off on this dude and asking him why the fuck he did something like that to somebody's Tesla. And the old man, he really didn't have any answer, but it was, man, he caught him because he wore this distinctive kind of USA like jacket, and he happened to see that jacket, and it turned out it was the man that was just on everybody's fucking X page scratching a Tesla a few days ago.
Dentures out.
Well, it wasn't his Tesla, so he was just kind of approaching the guy like, you've been all over the internet. That was you, and why were you doing that? And the old man, he didn't deny it. He just didn't have any real good reason why he did it. You know, it just, right now they hate Trump, and now they hate Elon, so they figure I'm going to fuck up everybody's Tesla.
Right.
And like I said, it's making me just want to go out and get one because of how bad they hate Elon right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you know, the Dems start preaching that shit about, you know, you don't need AR-15s. It just makes you want to run out and go buy these motherfuckers.
Sure does.
Absolutely.
So it could be a big ploy by Elon. He probably burned up that Las Vegas car lot.
It's just
making
Elon running around like,
Yeah, it was Elon setting all this up so we all get hyped up to go buy some fucking Teslas now, you know, just to show that we stand with Elon. Because it's got me wanting to. If he
it's
made
gonna
anything,
be Tesla gate in a few years.
yeah, like I said, if he made anything worth a fuck, and I don't mean worth a fuck as far as quality, but man, a lot of his cars just looks like some bullshit, man.
Or they're 100,000.
Yeah, the only thing worth a shit, yeah, is you got the Plaid, which is 6 figures, and then you got the Cybertruck. Everything else that's, you know, realistic to an average person is ugly as fuck. I mean, I might as well go buy a damn Toyota Camry or something.
I know,
you know?
they look pregnant.
I don't get it. I don't know why, because everything that Elon does, I don't know why he can't design a fucking car, you know? And I don't know if it's to make you say, well, I don't want those. I'm going to go ahead and just buy the more expensive one. But the average person isn't running around buying 6-figure cars.
No.
I mean,
It's
100
just-
grand's a lot on a car.
A lot.
But when you're not making money with it, I mean, I know there's work trucks and everything that cost that, but that you're making money. You're just driving this fucking Tesla Plaid just to say you have one for $100,000. Like, no,
Go
no,
get a
thank
little
you.
Tism one, dude.
Yeah, well, they all look, you know, they all look gay. I'll just say that. I don't understand what Elon was thinking when he approved these designs, but either way, like I said, it almost makes me want one if I didn't need a truck so bad. You know, and I damn sure ain't going spending money on a Cybertruck, so I don't like Elon that much.
Yeah.
No, fuck that.
Man.
Anyway, I did see Oklahoma House has passed a law that these sex offenders over there need to be castrated before they're eligible for parole.
Good.
And that should be a nationwide law. That should be
Absolutely.
a federal law.
Immediately.
Yes, I don't, and there's probably people honestly that argue with that. I mean, there'll be
There are.
yeah, well, yeah, there'll be a number of people that just think that's wrong, you know, and it's like it's been proven over and over that something like that is not, it's not curable. So I guess that at least you can take their sex drive away since you can't get rid of them.
Right.
know,
Right.
And I don't
It
understand.
seems simple.
It really does. I mean, it's like, hey, you know, we take your sex drive away, then you'll be eligible for parole, and then you won't want to prey on children, hopefully, because I would imagine that would kill that if they're not desiring sex. I mean,
You would think, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
is that for all sexual crime, you know, like rape, or is it just kind of child
Ye-
sex crimes?
probably all of them, if I had to guess. But let's see, because that's a good question. I don't know if it's just for children, you know. And then, hey, if that's the case, well, what do you do with the women, these teachers?
Right.
Like, what do you do with them? You know,
Right.
if you can sit there and do it to men before they're eligible for parole, well, how do you know? What do you do about a woman that sits there?
You just got to give her life.
I'm serious. But it just hit me all of a sudden. I'm thinking, well, I think it's great to do that to guys, but at the same time, hey, man, women play that game too. Matter of fact, they just had one that was she was Illinois teacher. She was married and was charged with molesting a 15-year-old.
Boy, I would catch a DV so fast.
And so I'm just curious, like, what do they do with her now for her to be eligible for parole if you're going to sit there and castrate a man? I mean, I don't have the answer, so I don't expect, it's not like a trick question. I'm just curious.
No, I don't know. Because I don't know if there's the same type of drugs for the other side, I mean.
Yeah, that kills their sex drive or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe
I
think that's called marriage.
Yeah. Imagine that, though, dude. I don't know. It never even hits the same, though, although it probably should, but it just doesn't sting as much when you see these female teachers,
Because, and for one, it's never a 4-year-old boy.
Right. Yeah. You rarely hear that women are touching small children. It's always a teenager.
Yeah.
Which not saying it makes it right. It's still illegal, but I know what you're saying. Yeah. But these sick men, they'll be over there. I mean, fucking babies and toddlers they're trying to touch, and I mean, the proper punishment for that is definitely not castration, but it's the least we could do, I guess. If you got to let them back in society, you got to try something because you don't cure that shit. All you got to do, you stay online enough and you start seeing those predator videos of them guys catching those predators, and it's over and over, and it's never these guys. Yeah, it's never these guys' first time. No. They all say it is, but you don't all of a sudden your sexual preference is children all of a sudden. That'd be like one of us all of a sudden we're just attracted to men. It doesn't work like that. No. You're attracted to what you're attracted to from the beginning. So, to sit there and say, oh, no, I've never done that. I don't believe, probably 80-90% of them are lying. So there is no cure for you being sexually attracted to something.
Nope.
Now, they also like to say that, the crime, the punishment has to fit the crime. So technically they didn't kill these children. So there is no death penalty for molestation. Should be. If we were rulers, if I was king, maybe it shouldn't be what?
PC in prison?
Protective custody, well, then you got but you got it's civil rights groups that come out. All these save, every human can be saved groups that come out, and a lot of these prisons and a lot of these states and, officials that run these states and cities, they don't want that kind of bullshit on their hands. They don't feel like dealing with these organizations, So it's just easier just for them to have stuff like protective custody. But I'm with you. There shouldn't be. Like, why? There was no protective custody for this child.
Right.
When you were doing whatever you're doing with this kid.
Exactly. Like, you about to find out molestation, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. That and not that it would stop all of it, because I mean, hell, they don't want to go to prison whether they're in protective custody or not, and they still do it. So I don't think it would stop all of it, but
I think it'd make them think twice when they get out of prison and realize that they had a broomstick in their ass for a week. They're like, you know what?
It wasn't worth it. No, I know. A lot of argument I've heard of, against the death penalty for people that do that is that it entices them to get rid of the victim, so there's no witness, and I kind of see it, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, that's why I think the least we can do is this law with the castration. I mean, it's at least you're trying to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't kill them, so I mean, at least take away their sex drive.
Speaking of death penalty, it looks like we finally executed someone, for the first time in 15 years in Louisiana.
Louisiana? God damn, it's been 15 years?
Yeah. Tonight.
Wow.
Nitrogen.
Did they use the nitrogen?
Or something?
I think so, yeah.
Because wasn't there some bullshit going on that they were trying to stop the ability of them to use nitrogen?
Yeah, did they execute him? Or I know I saw that the federal judge said that they weren't gonna stop the execution in Louisiana, but
good. Tonight,
Brad summed it up. He's dead.
He's dead, dude.
What did he do? What's his case?
I think murder, man. Murder, rape, or something like
I'm
that.
sure I didn't know if you knew the specifics, but
no.
Yeah, I just seen they were arguing about the whole night. Like, what is the I mean, was it just put him to sleep basically, like you're in a dental chair? I mean, opposed to lethal injection, was it like something they breathed in?
Yeah, he inhaled pure nitrogen gas through a mask strapped on his face for 19 minutes while pinned to a gurney, officials say, until he was deprived of oxygen and convulsive activity.
So what
Hell
was
yeah.
Died.
the bitching about from the other side, the ones that didn't
Yeah, it was
want
probably
that?
inhumane. I wish they
I
would
think
make
if you
him
read
feel it
about
more.
him, he was a Buddhist, and a lot of his prayers came through meditation and breathing, which I didn't think that'd be a problem, dude. If you were into the meditation and breathing, you're just not breathing air, dude. You're gonna be breathing nitrogen gas. So
Well, they said it went flawless. So
yeah,
I will
Hell
say
yeah.
that. Yeah, the Secretary of Louisiana Department of Public Safety and Corrections
yeah,
said he was went flawless. There was nothing that happened incorrectly. Well, that's
yeah.
good because we wouldn't want this murderer to suffer at all.
No,
So
we
No.
wouldn't want him to suffer at all, dude. No.
3 previous death row inmates in Alabama were put to death by the same method, which has emerged as an alternative for some states no longer able to obtain the necessary drug compounds for lethal injection. So they can't even get the drugs to do that. Oh, shit. Hoffman, 46, was condemned by a St. Tammany Parish jury for the 96 rape and murder
Yep.
of Mary Elliott, a 20. Damn, that's close to home. I didn't know that.
That hits home, dude.
28-year-old advertising executive kidnapped in New Orleans. Elliott was retrieving her car at the Sheraton New Orleans parking garage to go meet her husband for a date night when she was abducted, robbed, and raped by Hoffman. Prosecutors proved, okay, blah, blah, blah. Found her shooting her dead on a dock near the middle of Pearl River. A jury convicted him, first-degree murder. So I'm trying to see what the argument was against killing this idiot like that. Let's see.
Inhumane.
But what? But I'm just curious why. I mean, what's the difference if he's?
They just don't think that we should kill people. That's the
Yeah,
only
but it was
argument
something
I've
to
seen
do
is-
with the night. It was something to do with the way
Was
they
it the
were doing
method?
it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That was the
Really?
argument. I know there's people that argue against the death penalty. I meant
Okay.
with this, they were arguing.
I didn't know there was a argument specifically for like the method of execution, but
Yeah, it was somebody was trying to. God damn, wish I could. Let me see. Let me find it. Bear with me if anybody's.
they just need to bring back the electric chair.
I think they have it in some places. I like the firing squad guy the other day.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a way to
Getting
pick,
fucking
huh?
awesome around here.
That's a hell of a way to pick, though. Like, I mean, I don't know why you'd pick
Yeah.
firing squad, but
I don't know, but I'm loving 2025 America, dude.
yeah. 19 minutes. Yeah, I was trying to see the argument. I don't know. It's carried out the first. I can't believe that's the first one in 15 years.
In Louisiana?
Yeah.
That's what it was saying. Isn't
Wow.
that crazy? You know,
Hell
what's your
yeah.
opinion though, man, on somebody on death row that spends 20, 25 years? I mean, is that excessive, you think?
Yeah, and I'm like curious, like why? I mean, I know there's an appeal process, of
Yes.
course. I mean,
Mhm.
everybody gets their right to appeal, but like when everything's said and done, I don't know why it takes so long.
Right.
I'll
think
never
it-
understand that. I mean, they should be like daily almost, and not
Yeah.
not.
Right.
I know
It should
some people
be.
look at that as like you're advocating for just killing people, but I'm saying if they're on death row anyway, and that's a law in your state that they're allowed to do that,
Get it
then
over with.
what is the holdup? Why
Right.
are people paying to house people so long once they've exhausted their appeals?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I think it just takes so long between appeals. So like you wind up getting an appeal and then the government switches over to, the other side. So then you can get a stay from the president and and then
Yeah.
by the time that administration's done, say you get the other side back in, well now they're going to execute you, but you still have 2 more, appeals you can go through. So then you do your appeal. That takes another 2 years and
well, yeah, it's like I mean, like this guy we're talking about, and I mean, it was just a brutal and merciless rape and murder of this girl. Like, why did it take? I mean, this was in '96 when this shit
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I mean, at most, maybe 10 years of nonsense, because it
And I
takes a
think
couple
if
years
the
to go to
evidence is
trial.
there, DNA evidence, and God,
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't see why it takes
I think
25
like
years.
I
on death
could
row.
be wrong, but I thought it, was almost as simple as your lawyer, petitioning to like the governor saying, "Hey, I found new evidence. You have to stop this execution, da da da," and he can put a stop to it based off of, maybe new evidence in the case that proves this person innocent, da da da. So you've got that going on, plus appeals through court, and I don't know.
Right. Yeah. See,
And
I
then
was.
with
Go ahead.
Georgia, you have the issues where it's like, okay, we do lethal injection, and it's like, oh fuck, now we can't get the lethal injection drugs, but no other method of execution is approved. So what do we do now? Now they have to sit until we can get something else approved, And
Yeah. Well, I was looking more into what the argument was against that form, and it's just basically just his lawyers arguing that it's cruel and unusual punishment.
yeah,
And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, for one, what the fuck do you think it was when he killed that girl? So even if it was cruel and unusual, who gives a shit? But but also it's not, because you're basically passing out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
It's there was
And-
nothing else to it. I mean,
like after this dude gets convicted, like I can see you being a lawyer and you're like, all right, I'm going to take the case, I'm going to try to get this guy not convicted, yada, yada. But as a lawyer, knowing what this man did, how do you sit there
Yeah,
and
how do you
put yourself
argue
in
that?
front of people saying, hey, this man doesn't need to be killed like this? Like, no, fuck that.
yeah. Yeah, the judge wrote, the one that I guess was allowing it to, it was put off, his execution, while all this was going on. She wrote in her decision that he is substantially likely to prove that nitrogen hypoxia, whatever, poses a substantial risk of, oh Jesus, conscious terror and psychological pain. Like, who gives a fuck?
Awesome.
For one? Right.
It's
That
even
should
better.
be your punishment. I don't know, man. People just have it. It's these bleeding hearts, man. I don't get it.
Yep.
I get being sympathetic towards, other humans when it's warranted. But in cases like this, who gives two fucks how this man dies?
Fuck 'em.
You know what I mean? It's amazing
I
somebody
agree.
fights for
Yeah.
that. Like, who
I know.
cares?
I don't get it.
It's crazy, man. And that's not even an argument, like, because there's always the argument on the death penalty, whether that's right or wrong, just to have the death penalty. So that's not even the argument here. The argument is that this is cruel and unusual, the way that they're doing it. Who gives a fuck,
Well, in the defense of the lawyer, I mean, as a defense attorney, I'm guessing that you're appointed by the state. You got to do the best that you can to get a stay or get him off of the death penalty. So, but you
Yeah,
think in the back of the mind, I'm sure a lot of these lawyers have looked at the evidence and like, dude,
Yeah.
you're clearly guilty.
Yeah, I guess you're doing
I'd
your
rather see you
job.
in life in
Yeah.
prison. And look, maybe their tendencies are, well, a life for a life isn't the best thing. Give him life in prison, but so
Yeah.
I guess that's where it comes from.
I
don't
hear
know,
you.
but
I hear you. You're right. I mean, I think defense lawyers are needed because sometimes you're accused of doing shit that
Sure.
you didn't do.
Yeah.
I do
Right.
think they serve a purpose, but it's the ones that are fighting for these people that they know did
Mhm.
some terrible
Heinous
act.
crime,
Yeah,
yes.
even the ones that think about defending someone who admits to doing
Yes.
something to children.
Right.
Think about waking up in the morning and deciding that I'm going to go defend this person.
Right.
And they hide behind, well, everybody deserves a defense, in the justice
A fair
system.
trial and-
No,
right.
fuck you. But it's like, well, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Well,
That-
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing it. He can defend himself. I'm not
And
doing
like I
it.
said, I'm even like saying past the defense part, like of trials over. Now I'm just
Yeah.
fighting for this convicted fucking rapist killer that he shouldn't be killed this way. Like, now fucking
Yeah.
stab him in the throat. Fuck him. Like, I don't care how he
That's
dies.
what I mean. Look, you're not even fighting that he shouldn't die.
Yeah.
You're saying it shouldn't be this way, though.
It shouldn't be this
Like you think
inhumane.
you think he gave this woman a choice? How do you want to
Not
go?
at all.
You want me,
No,
would
not
you
at
like me to
all.
take it easy on you? I mean, how
Yeah,
much
a little bit.
psychological torture you think she faced?
Absolutely.
And they got people out there, not just lawyers, but citizens that have sympathy for that pile of shit and still argue that the death penalty shouldn't exist. And
Right.
and the only argument I've ever heard that makes a little bit of sense for that is that there have been people that have been wrongfully convicted and have died on death row when they didn't deserve to. So I get that. You know what I mean? I really get it, but that's more of an argument of making sure that the standards for the death penalty are higher than what they were in those cases. But when you've got DNA evidence or somebody admits to it, you know, or they're caught on fucking video nowadays, everything's on video.
Yep.
I mean, I don't see how anybody could argue that people like that scum that just got, you know, killed over here in Louisiana, how he has any more rights than that victim had, you know? So, but like you said, people will argue, man. It's a never-ending argument. And somebody's out there feeling sorry for this bastard because you know, if you look online, they got a picture of him where he's smiling like he's just a great fucking guy, you know. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm sure he may have turned his life around, but hey, man, you know, sometimes there's consequences to your actions. You know, you took a life, you sat there for 20 years after you killed this person and got to enjoy 20 years breathing, you know. So it's over with now. Rest in hell, you piece of shit.
Dude, it'd be cool. Like, I wish they could release them to like ISIS and be like, "Yo, make
just
a training video."
Put them in North Korea. Let them do the experimental shit they were doing to Otto Warmbier when they had him. You know, put him to some use. Yeah, that was a sad situation there. It was fucked up because imagine, you know, his parents. I mean, they dealt with that the entire time he was gone, not knowing what's going on with your child.
Right.
You know, you're receiving no word except every now and then that, oh, he's fine. You know, he's fine. He's good. You know, and that's it. But you don't know what's going on while he's being held by this dictator. You know, that's man. You talk about mental torture.
Yeah.
That right there. I mean, I don't know how there was no severe punishment for North Korea. As far as us,
agree.
I mean, I know there's so much more to it than just going over there and annihilating shit. But boy, does it seem like a grand idea when they gave that boy back in the condition they did. No, fuck this.
Something should have been done.
Yeah. Fuck this. We're going. I mean, that was terrible. But now they hid behind. He did break the law over there, and that was the punishment basically. Now it may not be what the punishment you have in your country, but that's the punishment we do. So he shouldn't have been over there doing what he was doing if he was even doing it. Have you seen the video of him supposedly taking that poster?
I did.
It's very grainy. It looks like one of these Bigfoot videos.
Right.
You don't know who the fuck it is. You just see a figure pulling something off the wall, and that's what they convict this boy on. You know, we're just supposed to take their word on it that you know that's what he did. So now he deserves to face the punishment. But there ain't no telling. He may not even touch that thing. That could have been a total setup.
Right.
But anyway,
y'all think we should be able to torture terrorists?
Yep. Yeah, CIA, I think so because
FBI torture program.
100%. I think it pulls out information. You know, I think it's a national security. If they're known terrorists. Now, I'm sure there's shit that goes on where they may have a guy that doesn't know shit and they're pulling out toenails, but
waterboarding him for days.
Yes, but I say you capture somebody that is a high up in these fucking things or can lead you to it because they're part of this. Oh, about 100%.
Yeah,
I have no sympathy for them. They do it to us. You know what I mean?
In a heartbeat.
So yeah, now there's people that fight against that. They'll say we're crazy. But I just think you could pull a lot out of a person with pain.
Yeah, that's
or even not pain, just mental, like that waterboarding shit, man. They said that'll drive you fucking nuts. Where it's, these people.
Well, that's what that CIA guy I was talking about a few weeks ago. He's on all the podcasts now. I forget his name, but that's why he wound up going to prison for basically being a traitor because he wound up telling the media that we were waterboarding Abu Zubaydah.
Oh, yeah.
When we caught him.
Yeah.
And that's what all that was about, the fucking torture, because they had a whole torture program running that they were like, no, we don't. We don't have a torture program.
What is that? Torture? No, we don't.
No.
Oh, that shit's been going on though forever. I mean, torture is just what you did. For one, you just did it to an enemy.
Right.
If you weren't even trying to pull nothing out of them, it was just a point. And then for two, it's always been going on when you're trying to figure out what the enemy's doing, and you find somebody that has information. It's not like we invented it.
No.
So even for them to deny it, like, no, we torture. Like, why would we do that? Like, I know exactly why you would do it because I'd do it.
Yep.
But no, anyway. But yeah, that was I don't know. Is that I'm with you. Send over people that commit the crimes like that guy did, with the raping and the kid crimes. Send them over there and let them torture the fuck out of them for the fun of it.
Yeah, not the truth, huh?
Yeah, I just have no sympathy for them people, man. I don't know how people do, but they do, man. Some people do. But anyway. What else is going on? Oh, they are talking about now. I want to know who y'all think put this study out, but it says weed smokers under the age of 50 are 6 times as likely to have a heart attack.
Oh,
so who you think's behind this study?
Big Pharma.
No, thank you. They hate marijuana. They fucking hate it with a passion because it dips into their fucking profits. They refuse to put out anything positive. So they did this whole study, just basically, I think it was like a 3 or 4 year study, and the participants all age 50 and under. According to them, they had no major heart issues at the outset with healthy blood pressures, cholesterol levels, and no history of diabetes, tobacco use, or coronary artery disease. But after they followed up with them after 3 years of them smoking marijuana, they found the users had more than 6-fold increase in heart attack risk. Now, how do they know? Like, how do you judge that? Like, you just look at somebody and say, oh, you're at risk for heart attack now, 6 times more than you were.
Right.
Like, how do you come up with that figure? And double the chance of heart failure. Like, how do they know that?
Yeah, how do you know?
How do you,
before they've died.
Yeah. But the risks don't stop there. Said you could increase the risk of having a stroke, a condition where the blood clot disrupts blood flow to the brain, cardiovascular disease, heart attack, and stroke. All these, and it's not even that these people were having these problems. They were saying that, yeah, now you're more at risk. And I'm like, who falls for this shit? I don't understand it. But that study was put on by, one of these pharmaceutical people that just refuse to want to say that, that maybe it helps some people. They refuse to say that.
You would think they would make more money if they would just get into the weed game.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't they just
just get in
buy a farm and just
look? Here's what I like. Not to cut you off, but this is my favorite part. Researchers didn't consider the amount of cannabis, nor did they explore other potential contributing factors. They just blamed everything on weed.
Absolutely.
They actually said that at the end of this fucking article. Oh, my God.
And I guess that's cutting into their bottom line, right?
Oh, of course it is.
You take the weed out the equation because then, well, I guess if you're on weed now, you're taking the Xanax and the antidepressants and the this and the that and all the pharmaceutical pills.
Of course. I mean, yeah, like you said,
a lot of people probably from cannabis use, man, get what they need as far as anxiety relief and, helping them out.
But, well, yeah, I was going to say anxiety and depression and just pain.
Absolutely.
I mean, it can work wonders with some people. And instead of them
blows your
saying,
heart up.
yeah, well, yeah, or like this article says, it could be the cocaine. But we're not going to say, because it says we should have some caution as interpreting the findings, and the cannabis consumption is usually associated with other substances such as cocaine and other illicit drugs that are not accounted for. So it's either it's either the weed or the cocaine. Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and say it's the cannabis.
It's the weed for sure.
And I'm really surprised that the last administration never approved it.
I am too.
Federally. Yeah.
I am, honestly, because that was one of their big, selling points.
It really was.
They harp about.
But I guess the think tanks and the political lobbyists of the big pharma said no.
Yeah, big pharma will never let any of these politicians go through with that. It's not going to happen. They got their claws sunk in so deep,
And in their defense, there's not really a huge list of stuff they did do besides that. So,
no.
What you mean?
Just the last administration. Like, there's not a huge list of shit that they did aside from that. So it's
illegal immigration was probably their biggest thing they did.
Yeah.
Did y'all see fucking Tracy Morgan puking at the basketball game? Did you see that?
I did.
Oh God, I'm like, man, please stop doing this on my timeline. Like every time I'm scrolling, and there's Tracy Morgan sitting on the fucking at a Knicks game or whatever, just fucking just exploding all over the fucking side of the court.
He said they're 1-0 when he pukes on the court, so he's gonna bring it up during the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he was blaming it on food poison or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like bad nachos or something.
But I mean, you talk about in front of the fucking world, just sitting there like sideline at a fucking basketball game, just everywhere, and then he's getting wheeled out of there on a chair. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ! But I'm thinking, man, I've seen this enough. Can y'all please stop sharing this?
Right.
But anyway, it's one or the other. But let's get back. I just wanted to sum up the article with the cannabis. Either weed or cocaine will explode your heart. We don't know. You pick.
Yeah.
That's kind of where they went with that article. So stupid.
It goes from weed can cause heart attacks to maybe it could be cocaine.
Well, yeah, at the end though, they throw that in. I mean,
Yes.
it's we don't know. We didn't take none of that into account. I mean, these people may be fucking cokeheads, but it doesn't matter. They also
Cocaine and
smoke
terrible
weed.
diets have nothing to do with it.
I mean, they did legalize everything. It's so stupid to tell an adult what you can't consume.
Yep.
When they're letting us suck down this shit all the time.
Right.
I mean, it's so crazy. And it's so much more.
Microplastics, Yeah.
Well, yeah, and-
Microplastics, fluoride in toothpaste. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, but it was all started for either political or just money reasons. They start these laws. It's not because they give two shits about people. It's not why any of this was created. This war on drugs that was hit hard in the 80s with Reagan and them. I mean, I think it's like Brad said, these lobbyists and these, the pharmaceutical companies, man, they're big money.
Yeah.
Big money, and they'll sit there. You can legally push, pills. A doctor can, but the guy standing there telling you to smoke a little weed, he's the bad guy. And
Every time.
That's how they pretty much convinced the entire nation for the longest time. Because I remember growing up, I was probably, gosh, I had to be 17 or 18 before, honestly, it's probably a shame to say, before I even really saw weed. I didn't know what it was because I was just too big into sports. I wasn't a drug guy, I wasn't around that shit. But I remember a buddy of mine had a whole weed leaf. His dad had it in a photo album, and when I saw it, I was like, "Oh my God, is that marijuana?" Like, what the fuck? Yeah. You would have thought I just saw some crack cocaine, but it was just shit that was pumped to you as you were young, and that was the bad. That they tainted the marijuana in people's minds, that it was just some fucking, it was going to kill you. I remember seeing that for the first time thinking, oh my God, that's real marijuana. Like it was some big fucking deal. Like, oh,
it was so taboo growing up, man.
Well, yeah. And they did a
man.
good job of that. It was the gateway drug, remember?
Yeah.
Gateway.
Yeah, they just say no, the Nancy Reagan
That's the
campaign,
one. They started all that shit.
Probably $2 trillion on that shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Weren't they pushing back then that if you smoked weed, you were gonna instantly beat your wife or something like that?
All
You're
that.
just gonna go mad.
Yeah.
And...
Well, the big thing, it used to be, it was the gateway was what we always heard coming up. It was a gateway drug. If you smoke weed, it won't be long. You'll be on the corner on your knees blowing some dude for crack. That's what it was leading to. And then that was all purposely done by these politicians and all. They demonized it so well, really, that it had people like me coming up thinking it was like, oh my God, I would never touch that stuff. And people that do, they have to be just dope heads. And
and now it's come to find out that a pulled back muscle is a gateway to fucking heroin.
Yeah, exactly. And that's more true than the weed. Yeah, you hurt your back, they put you on opioids, and then it's when they stop giving you that shit and you're hooked on it, well, what are you doing?
Yep.
Even if they don't stop giving it, you're looking for a better high, which is heroin.
Right.
And that's exactly what it leads to. Meanwhile, they're sitting there worried about the gateway that, marijuana may lead you to. All it does is make you want to go eat everything in your pantry, but I don't find it to be a gateway drug.
No.
I don't know many people that say, yeah, I started with weed, man, and then it just wasn't enough, so I went to fucking meth. I mean, it's two different highs for one.
Yeah.
I mean,
God
people that smoke their weed like their weed. I mean, that's
yeah.
it. They
And
like
honestly,
that feeling.
I feel like the number one thing I do hear when, they're talking to, you see the interviews on, Skid Row, and they're talking to dope heads and shit, and a lot of it started out drinking young.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah,
of them
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
alcohol.
drinking
Yeah.
alcohol young.
Yeah, that's true. I do. You're right. I do hear a lot of people that are down bad, like you said, out there on Skid Row or just whatever, out on drugs, young, man, sneaking off drinking.
Yep.
Whether it be stealing
It's
shit
true.
out their parents' house or just getting their hands on it some way, they start from a young age. And you got to figure, though, anytime you're putting something like that in your body at such a young age while your brain is still developing, there's no telling what that does.
Right.
Whether it be weed or alcohol. I mean, it's got to do something, while your brain is forming. If you're doing it on a regular basis, it can't be good. So there's no telling how that affected people, You
Right.
just see people as adults and start judging them, but they start from a young age, fucking boozing it every day of the week. I mean, there ain't no telling what they could have been in life had they not done that, No
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't
telling.
that funny, that study you were reading about marijuana, heart attacks, blah, 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 and it's like, okay, well, what about cigarettes?
Yeah.
But we can't harp on that because it's taxed and it's, big
Yeah.
tobacco. And
Well, and I've always said, why not just go that route with marijuana if you're the
Right.
government?
I agree.
I don't understand that. Like, what is does it have too good a medicinal, uses that the pharmaceutical company is that afraid of it that they just won't allow something like that to pass? I don't know who's stopping this. Because like you said, they do it with cigarettes. They do it
Yeah.
with alcohol. And it's
Alcohol.
getting a little more laxed with the marijuana, but it should just be federally nothing. Just boom, whatever. It should
Yeah.
be no more regulated than a fucking cigarette, if that much.
Yeah.
If that much, because the bullshit they put in cigarettes that people are putting into their bodies is way worse than smoking some shit that, a plant that somebody grew.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy to think
I
that
agree.
cigarettes are readily available at damn near every corner store you walk into, but weed's still frowned upon
Yep.
by this government. It's crazy. You don't make an ounce of fucking sense.
Jesus, cigarettes
But-
have come a long way in the last,
Cigarette prices.
what I can
have
remember
gone
in the
a
last
long-
20 years. Like,
Ain't lying.
the prices
can't-
come a long way.
they have, but I was just thinking, like, you can't smoke anywhere anymore.
Oh no,
No.
dude! I know coming up, man. You would people smoking in a restaurant next to you.
Smoking
I
or
know.
non-smoking.
Fucking doctor's office. The doctor's in there puffing on a cigarette. Like,
It's
make
dude,
sure you take your
everywhere.
vitamins.
It's so true.
It's
Yeah,
crazy
Used to
how
be
it
the
used
best
to
back
be.
in the day, You want smoking or non-smoking?
Yeah,
Restaurants,
smoking or
How
non.
about non-smoking? You go to the table right next to you, is puffing cigarettes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Do cars still come with ashtrays?
I haven't seen one. If I ever,
Dude,
like
I don't-
mine don't.
No, I don't have one in my van.
No.
man. No.
Damn. I know,
No.
like,
Remember
the,
the little cigarette lighter, Shane, back in the day?
Oh,
You'd push
yeah, I
'em
don't-
in.
I don't
Yeah.
always see them anymore.
You don't see that anymore
I
either,
fucked myself up on one of them one time, but
I
Oh, yeah.
probably trying to light a joint, huh?
nah, I just
No.
didn't know what it was. I was young.
Didn't know what it was.
Was.
I was young. I was
Uh.
like, not because like I got a Blazer outside. It's probably like an 01, and it's got an ashtray in the front and 2 ashtrays in the back.
Yeah, oh yeah, they
Like
came correct
swivel
back in the
ashtrays
day.
and
Everybody
shit, yeah.
smoked. Yeah, the kids could smoke in the
Yeah,
back seat.
That's an antique, dude.
Kids flicking the ashtray. Don't. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. That's an antique if it's got cigarette or ashtrays in it.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
That used to
The
be
good old
every
days.
every table that anywhere you went, there was an ashtray sitting on it, man, inside of
Yeah.
buildings. I guess that's a
yeah.
nationwide thing, huh? You can't smoke in
Yeah.
buildings, is it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
No,
it's
well,
I guess
it's
except
weird.
for casinos.
Yeah, you could do it in casinos. Can you
Right.
do it in bar rooms?
Nope.
Damn, how can casinos get away with it?
I don't
I mean,
know.
besides that they have so much money, but like,
Well,
what
maybe they-
excuse?
maybe it's not like a nationwide thing because I was in Harrah's and I don't think I remember anybody smoking in Harrah's the last couple times I've been in there in New Orleans.
It may be our state. you
Yeah.
know? But I don't know because I know, like I said, in Mississippi at the casinos, because I passed one billboard the other day that was like, the only smoke-free casino on the
Right.
coast, so all the rest of them, you could just light it up.
Right, but I know Bourbon Street threw a fit a few years ago when they were talking about getting rid of smoking in the bars, and I mean they did it, but yeah,
Yeah, that's a big one, man. Now, granted, I guess since every bar had to do it, it was like, well, whatever, we're all on the same playing field now. But yeah, I think it should be up to the bar. I think it should be up to the establishment. honestly.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
if you want to allow it and people don't want to patronize your business because they don't want to be around cigarette smokes, well, then that's something you got to deal with. That's a risk you're taking as a business
Right.
owner, you know. But
Yep.
I do think it should be allowed. It shouldn't be a law, you know.
No.
They shouldn't be able
Just
to
another
tell.
infringement, dude.
It
you
is.
know?
It really is. I
Mm.
think it should be totally up to the establishment. You know, if I own a restaurant and I decide I want half of it to be smoking, then that's on me. If you
Right.
don't like it, don't come, is how I would see it.
I agree.
But it is crazy that they made that a law
Yeah.
now that we're
Now-
talking about it.
What do you think about the laws banning smoking in your car with a kid under whatever the age limit
like it.
is?
I like it. I like it because it's the same, you know, the kid has no choice.
Mhm.
Right.
Adult, we have a choice, you know, to partake in something like cigarette smoking, but we should not be blowing shit like that into our children's face.
Right.
You know, now knowing what we know now. I mean, back when
Right.
I was young, it would be a hot box in every car you got in. You know,
That is
fucking
true.
Yeah.
Marlboro Red smoke. You know, but you know, now that we all know how dangerous that is, and
Right.
and you're such a shitty fucking adult that you don't keep that from all up in your children's lungs, and somebody's got to look out for your kid. That's the
Right.
only time I think that it's not government overreach is if it's, you know, some certain things like that where it's like the safety of children because
Yeah.
they have no say in some situations. Now, there is overreach by the government sometimes with telling you, you know, what you can and can't do with your kids. But when it comes
Yeah.
to, you know, stuff just, you know,
That's blatantly gonna
common
harm them.
sense
Common
shit.
sense shit.
Yeah. Same thing with seatbelts. You know, I mean, if an adult don't want to wear a seatbelt, that should be up to him. Now,
Yep.
the kid shouldn't have that choice because that's not, you know, they're not smart enough, even though they're smart enough to be able to change their gender, according to some people. But,
Mm,
you know, they're not
true.
smart enough to say, hey, I need to wear a seatbelt because it's safer. They don't, you know,
Yeah.
they're not taught that. They don't know that. So that should
Yep.
definitely be a law because
why
there
I
are
thought
some
the-
shitty parents out there.
Oh
you know.
yeah. That's why I thought the smoking in the bar rooms was stupid because I'm like, you banned it in restaurants and I can get it because, you know, there's children around, you know. But I'm like, it's a bar. Like if you're going to a fucking bar, like it's just I don't know, it's just kind of part of the
It
Fucking
goes
right
hand
it
in
is.
the
hand,
thing,
dude.
you know.
Yeah.
Alcohol, cigarette. Yeah, it just. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I
It's
was
just
looking it
crazy.
up. They said while there isn't a nationwide federal law mandating smoke-free buildings, 28 states have comprehensive smoke-free laws, and many cities and counties have. So it's all up to the, you know, states and cities' rights, which it should be. But then I think
Yeah.
they need to not step in and tell a bar owner you can't have people smoking in here.
Right.
Like, what the fuck do they care? If
Right.
you're a non-smoker, then don't go. You know, pick another one. It's not
exactly
it's not like you have to go to a bar room. Like it's just your right as an, you know. It's like,
right.
I mean, don't fucking go. It's probably better off anyway. Stay out of the bar rooms. Ain't
Yes.
nothing there but trouble. But anyway,
Damn
all
laws.
right. Well,
Man, what's
I
up
think
with
we.
the stock market, man?
Oh well, Brad's an expert at it. That's how he's made his millions.
Shows, yeah.
Damn it, man.
Yeah,
Down,
you
down,
gotta hit
down,
on
down,
that,
down.
dude. What you learned about the options, man?
The options. So I was fucking around with them today, because I was just tired of buying little stocks and whatnot, right? So with the options, basically, so one option package is
Mhm.
basically you are buying the right to buy 100 shares of a stock at said price. So say Apple is trading for, I don't know, fucking 128 bucks ish today,
Okay.
right? Okay. So you can buy options when the market opens tomorrow at whatever price you want for whatever, you know. So if you think a month from now Apple's going to be at 140, right?
Right.
You can buy an option for April 18th for Apple at 100 and, you know, 20 bucks, and that gives you the right to on the 18th buy 100 shares of Apple for whatever price you bought the option for. Now, you can sell the options before then and, you know, it goes up, right? Now you can also buy the right to sell 100 shares, you know, at said price down the line if you think it's going to drop. And the stock people, they make money because you have to pay a fee on it, right? So like I did Home Depot earlier, and the option is $5. All right, but you have to buy 100 of them, right? That's your fee is 5 times 100, so it's $500.
Right.
So it was a 3-month option. So say 2 months from now, the price is, up 10%. I'd be able to sell that and make money off of it. Or if I wanted to wait off the whole time, then I would have the option at the end of that to buy Home Depot at whatever the set price was for, that option. So if Home Depot's at, uh, you know, $3.50 a share and my option says that I can buy it at $2.50, then I just made $100 a share times 100 shares.
Right.
So like today with the Home Depot one, I made $40 today. So that is options and a brief rundown.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the options end of it. I really haven't studied that too much, but I know you can win big, and you can also lose your ass.
Well, so with the
That's the
options,
stock
like
market altogether, ain't it?
with the
Oh,
options,
absolutely.
unless you get really deep into it where you're really, really taking risks, the most you can lose is whatever your option value is worth, because your options can go down to zero, right? So like if you say, I'm buying a call at 450 on a stock, and by the time your option's up in 3 months, that stock's worth 420, right? Your option's worth nothing because nobody's going to buy it from you. They're going to lose money. So, but if your initial option, if the fee on it was $1,000, that's the most you can lose on it, right?
I gotcha.
Now you can make as much, as much as the stock can go up in a month or 2 months, So that's what I do like about the options, is whatever you initially put into it is the
Right.
most you can lose. But
Interesting.
yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll
have to
see how
look
it
into
goes.
Yeah. And where you trading this at?
Robinhood.
Robinhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I seen them. I was looking at the story. Them astronauts finally made it home.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Didn't
Like,
they replace them with some other astronauts? Think they sent some
so.
other ones back up there to replace them or some shit?
No, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I saw one. Like he looked like he was from Japan. I
Yeah.
want to say there was a Russian up there now. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree to go. They'd be like, "Hey, do y'all want to go replace the
Like,
ones that have been lost in space?"
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. What
I'll
was
catch
that?
the
Like
next trip.
200 and something days, Shane, up there.
Yeah, bro, they were up there for a while, and then
Yeah. That is
like
so
I think we were
crazy,
talking about it
dude.
today, but like Elon was saying, man, it starts to affect your body as far as your bones, the density of your bones and everything, man, because you're
Yeah.
not made to be in that 0G environment like that for that long. You're only supposed to be up there for a few days, and they were there for
Right.
months. So there's no
Dude, I
telling
was reading
what kind of
somewhere where you
lasting
actually
effects.
your spinal cord will separate, and it's been known that astronauts have come back taller if it's 2 inches taller
Yeah,
because of the zero gravity.
there ain't no
And
telling.
it actually causes the spinal column to separate and
Yeah, it
make you
can't be good.
taller.
It can't be good. It's like Elon was saying, we're not meant for that, the human body. So there's going to be some kind of negative effects that these, astronauts are probably going to have to deal with now.
I'm
And it
sure.
was all to do with politics, why it took so long to get them
Yeah.
down. And that's a damn shame, man. Our government left them up there in the name
Right.
of, we don't want anybody associated with Trump to do anything good on our watch, because Elon could have been brought them people home.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, all in the name of, we might actually have to give somebody credit that's associated with Trump. We're going to go ahead and leave these people up there so we don't have to ever face that. That's terrible. And these astronauts, they can't speak out and say that because, they work for NASA.
Right.
So they've got, they got to watch their ass. So they can't sit there and probably, disclose how pissed off they are with the entire situation and the administration. They're going to thank Elon and this, that, and other. But you watch, you're not going to come out and bash the administration and this government saying, what the fuck,
Right.
why the fuck did y'all leave us up there so long? It was very unnecessary. But they're not going to be able to do that. So it'll just get, swept under the rug.
Swept under the rug,
But-
dude. On to the next one.
On to the next one. Anyway.
Yep.
All right, let's wrap it up. We have ran our
Right.
mouth enough. So We'll be back next week, same time, maybe same place if we don't get kicked off the platform by then. So y'all behave, BSing with the guys. Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Peace. Peace.
Straight from the swamps of southern Louisiana, Straight from the swamp.